name is Sandra. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm doing a series where I want to show you guys all of the different types of spreads that you can do in a bullet journal, because sometimes, honestly, it is hard to figure out how to make your bullet journal different, or how to, incorporate spreads that will really be productive for you or efficient for you, that will work with you, because it's the whole point of a bullet journal is that it is meant to be all your own. So you can customize it any way you want. And we're here today to do weekly spread ideas that you can do in your bullet journal. So let's get started. So I have this opinion about weekly spreads, and when you see weekly spreads, we'll turn to the first one and I'll kind of explain what I mean here. So here is a very basic weekly type of spread that most people, like when you look on Pinterest or Instagram or YouTube, this is what people will call a weekly spread. And I'm not really in agreement with this. Yes, it does look like a weekly spread because every day of the week is on this page, plus there's a notes section, but I have a different spread in mind that I usually call a weekly spread, and this would be classified more as a daily spread, where you're going to put your notes on it. People do these types of spreads in their bullet journal mostly to conserve space. And a lot of times people will try to get through one journal for an entire year or even every 6 months. And then there's people like myself who go through a bullet journal every quarter. I usually, every 3 months, I'll start a new bullet journal. And you might say, well, that's a lot of work, or that's kind of a waste because it's, a notebook and these things are expensive. But again, each to their own. It doesn't really matter what you do because it's all your own, and there should be no judgment no matter what you do. So we're going to go over the different styles of weekly spreads. So I'm including these types of weekly spreads as well as what I would classify as a weekly spread. And we're going to talk a little bit about them and how you can customize them to make them work for you. So like I was saying, this one here is very basic. So you have the days of the week, and one thing I'll say is that I used to be a Sunday to Saturday kind of person because that was just how the calendar always was. And in my mind, Sunday was the start to the week because you were getting ready for the work week. But then when I grew up, I realized it didn't really matter because I never worked a Monday to Friday job. I always worked at a grocery store where every day of the week was kind of up for grabs, and usually my days off were during the week. So I would have like a Monday Thursday off, or a Tuesday Friday. It would never really ever it would never be 2 days off in a row until I started scheduling myself, until I worked my way up into that position. So anyway, that's kind of my reasoning for that. But then I recently started doing Monday to Sunday only because it works better in my business, and because a lot of my planners that I use are Monday to Sunday. So that is why. So this one's pretty basic. So you can basically write anything that comes up in these spaces here. My issues with these type of spreads in particular is because for me, it doesn't allow me enough room, which is another thing that you can do, is like a rolling daily where you write everything down for Monday that you need to, and then the next day you start fresh and then you write down Tuesday. So of course it might go over to the next page, which is what people don't really want when they're trying to conserve paper or their bullet journal. So I did add some highlighter here just for effect so you can see the titles better, and that's just a really easy thing to do. This is simple, takes no time at all, and I drew a simple line. This paper is shadowing because this is a Lloyd's term journal, but I did a simple line after the highlighted date, and that is it. So as simple as you can get, and you're maximizing space on the pages here, and then any notes that you have throughout the week, you can just simply write them at the bottom. So moving to the next one, this is exactly the same, but a different layout. So as you can see, I used a black pen to draw boxes all the way around the space you would be writing in for each day. And then I highlighted the end of each box and wrote the date at the side. So simply looking from this spread to this one, you can see it's exactly the same, but adding different details really does change the way your page looks. And this is a personal preference. You can do it differently every week if you like. This is just examples to help get you started in your own journal, especially if you're new to bullet journaling. So this next one is a different shape. So now we're kind of going up and down the page. It's still maximizing space. It's very efficient use of space, but you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then notes. So another way you could arrange this is to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, and then notes. You can draw something here instead, or you can make it a habit tracker if you like weekly habit trackers. So I really advise you to customize it any way you want. And another trick to make it look kind of cute is to do the day behind in like a light colored marker and then do the date on the top. And then that way you can see the date and the number of the day, and it still looks really pretty. So the next one is again exactly the same. I've simply changed up a few of the minor details on the page. So here I'm mostly taking up the top of it with the name of the day and then the date. On this one, I'm actually leaving a little space for events. So even though it's not labeled, you can do this in your bullet journal, and then any appointments or events would go up here, and this section would be for your daily task list. And then also I've added a drop shadow to the boxes, again, just to give it a little bit of a difference. So if you're looking from this spread to this spread, you can see how it really changes the look of it. So the next one again is completely different, and this one really gives you a lot more freedom to write down especially if you have a long list of things to do every day. So I would just keep within the certain area here and write down every single thing that you have to do. So this is really good if you like to make lists, because then you're not it's not so structured. You don't have these boxes kind of telling you this is all the space you have to write and that's it. I didn't really like this before because I felt like the columns were really squishy, but I have adapted this in some of my own spreads, and it does work well, especially for someone like me who does have a lot to do every single day. Okay, the next one is an adaptation of the one previous. So again, you can write events at the top here if you have appointments, especially if you have like your own business and you're making appointments and every day and you need to schedule time for those appointments, and then you can write your tasks down below. This is also a really nice way to do it. And again, I'm just using a black brush pen, a fine liner, and a white gel pen. And my white gel pen of choice is my Signo Uniball UM153 broad white gel pen. That one's amazing. I use it all the time. But also I found that the Archer and Olive acrylograph pens, the white one, works pretty good as well. Those are a recent addition to my collection, so I've just only started using those. The next one is similar, but there's a bigger use of the page here, so you can add more things to your page, especially if you don't have a huge appointment list or a to-do list. So you've still got a space to do that right up above, but then you also have room for your weekly habits, weekly goals, especially if you like planning your week according to your goals, and a section for notes as well. And again, all of these spreads are super simple, and they take up, only a few minutes to prep the page before you start writing on it. So I really like this spread. This is probably one of my favorite spreads that I have done in the past. And the reason why I like it is because it really does maximize the amount of space that you can use, like usable space. So it's got a room for events. So that would be appointments. I even write down things like getting groceries, because I always get groceries on Monday. I clean the bathroom Tuesday. I pay the bills on Thursday. Garbage is on Thursday. So there are certain days where I know that that's happening on that day. And then down here, I just write all the other things I need to do. And this sometimes is enough room for me, but again, it's different for everybody. It truly is. So you just have to kind of pick which one of these spreads works best for you and then go with it. But I really like this because it just looks pretty as well. And if you want, you can add decorations on the side. You can add drop shadows to really make your page pop. So this is an adaptation of that one. As you can see, I've changed the dates to the side of the box, and I've added habits the long way down. So this is good if you don't have, this one doesn't include events. So it's got habits here, your daily tasks here, next week, which is helpful, especially if you're trying to plan the week after, and then weekly goals. And again, you can customize these headings to whatever you need them for. And now getting into the good stuff, this is what you would call a Dutch door spread. So you can do a Dutch door vertically, which is this one where you cut the page up and down, or you can also do it like the barn door style where you cut the page across horizontally. So I've never done that because I don't like, I feel like it makes the page look shorter, but it's easy to do. I've seen it done and it's exactly the same thing. You just have to do the layout in a different fashion. But this one I particularly like because it really gives you a lot of space to write, and yet you can still see events no matter which page you've turned to. And then I usually just write a grocery list, but you could have next week, you could have notes, you could have anything you want. But then if you have the Monday through to the Sunday, you also have a small section here where you could do a drawing or you could do notes, whatever you need. And then this is the very last spread that I want to talk to you guys about. So this spread is one that I particularly like. It's one of the ones I've done in my latest weekly setup, and I only do this type of spread when I'm doing rolling dailies. So this allows me to have a huge grocery list, basically taking up the entire page, a room for events, a little mini calendar. Sometimes I like to put the week just to kind of know where I am in the year. And then I have a huge task list for business and personal. And then getting into the dailies, you could do, your 7 boxes on this page, or you could just simply write the date and then point form tasks underneath that. Then when you're done for the day, you start the next date. So whether that takes up the whole page, whether it takes up just a tiny amount of room, it doesn't matter. But that is, it gives you the freedom to make your list as long as you want, and doesn't make you feel like you're running out of room, which is one of my biggest pet peeves about having a set up, pre-planned, planner or notebook or anything. So I really like the space to write. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys found some usable spreads in all of these examples that I have showed. If you liked this type of video, please give this video a thumbs up. If you're new here, I would love if you would consider subscribing. And again, click on that bell button to be notified every time I upload a new video. And we will see you guys in the next one. Bye!